Hello and welcome to the channel. I thought that I'd start a YouTube channel on hydroponics because I've always been interested in it, but I've never actually pulled the trigger on any sort of hydroponic stuff. And I ran across another YouTuber a few weeks ago, I guess it was, who chose, and I just started binge watching all of his videos, and I said, you know, I should probably do that. So that's what I'm doing, and I've built a hydroponics setup. We're going to get into this in a little bit. Earlier today, I was getting some clay balls ready to put in here, and I was dealing with something from my other business that was really frustrating me. I said, okay, calm down, just go get something to eat, watch a YouTube video, come back out and get back to it. So went in there, prepared myself something to eat, sat down in front of the computer, and who chose had a new video out, and it was how to clean your clay balls after they've been through a cycle in a hydroponic system. In his video he had something like this and mentioned that he tried it for putting the balls in here and rinsing them off, and they just fell through. Well, I made this yesterday, and I came out here and I just had to try it. I was thinking that maybe my clay balls are a little bit bigger than his, but apparently they're the same size, and a lot of them just went right through. But to salvage this, I came up with an idea. Unfortunately, I had to go to Lowe's to buy some screen, but everything else I had laying around. So much of this stuff was just laying around, and I printed a lot of the other stuff. I plan on getting into printing things a lot more in this channel, but not in this video. I'll show you a few examples though. Anyway, what we're going to do with this is we're going to cut out a piece of fine mesh screen like you'd use on a screen door or a screen porch, and we're going to staple it in here, and that way this will be our support for the fine mesh screen. And then hopefully we can pour our clay balls in here and rinse them out, no problem. I think I'm also going to make like a spout for this. So let's get to it. So the idea is that we're going to unroll some of this, lay it down, put our frame on top of it, cut it out, flip it over, staple it inside, and then we should be good to go. Now, as far as this channel goes, I welcome constructive criticism, just because, you know, I'm new to this. And even if I weren't new to it, I would still be open to it, because that's, you know, how we learn. We learn from others and making our own mistakes and fixing them. I think what I'd like to see out of this channel is getting more people interested in this and just kind of opening up the conversation about it more, because it really doesn't seem that popular in the US. I mean, other than for growing weed, but I don't really have any interest in doing that. I've just always been fascinated with, you know, being able to grow something with water, air, and a little bit of nutrients. That just blows my mind. So we're going to have some fun doing that. Okay, not going to get super technical or critical about all this. We're just going to cut it and staple it. And Mrs. Shady said that she could also use this for processing herbs. Her plan is to just flip it upside down and then take the dried herbs and rub them on it and then pick them up from underneath. Okay. You get the idea. And there we have it. It's not perfect, but should do the trick. Let's give it a try. Well, I don't know where you got cut off, but here we are. We're going to rinse these clay balls off. We're going to put our frame on top of that wagon and just rinse it off on my St. Augustine plugs. So I almost forgot about making that lip fort, spout, whatever you want to call it. Now, this used to be a 55-gallon drum. We cut up several of them into thirds for some flower pots up there, like, you know, just small above ground beds. I found this one wasn't being used and I needed the plastic to repair my canoe because my old one's pretty beat up right there and on the back. So what I did was I cut the ring and I cut a slit in it and then used a torch and bent it into the shape you see. So we're going to cut off a piece of this and get out the heat gun and form it to our form, so we'll have a spout on it. That would make a pretty good cutting board flattened out. It's hot. October 4th, upstate South Carolina, and it is still hot. What we're going to do is soften this piece of plastic and get it flat. Put a 90-degree in it using this furnace burner that I have yet to make a furnace with. Well, I think good enough is going to be a running theme on this channel. So here's where we are now. I did consider just tacking it to one side of our frame, then heating it and bending it and putting the bolts or the screws in the other side. I think what I'm going to do instead is find the center, drape it over this concrete block, have another one on that end of it, and just use a heat gun, keep heating it till it flops down, and let it cool that way. That'll give me my 90, and then I'm going to pre-drill it and screw it down to the frame. Okay, off camera, as soon as I took the brakes off, I realized I should probably get over like this. Then I had another brick like this, and I pushed it down pretty flat together like that. And then that got a better crease in it. I just went over there to the garden hose and rinsed it off, cool it down. So now we're going to pre-drill the holes. Let's get an idea how this is going to work. Alright, this seems to be the weakest spot, so yeah, looks like I had just enough finishing washers. Alright, let's see how it works. Let's give her a rinse. My nutrient is the only thing I'm lacking with that in plants. But I'm going to go ahead and load up the buckets in preparation for all that stuff to get here. So I'm going to go grab a bucket and we'll fill it up, try out the spout. We're not going to have time to get into the entire hydroponics system that I stuck together, but since I've got the bucket here, we can get into that. I really wanted to get the, what are they called? The name eludes me right now, but it's basically your commercial Dutch bucket. And, you know, after watching Who Chose, it's like, yeah, you can get them and they're really inexpensive. So the places that I found them, they were all like $5 a piece. and then you go to check out, and shipping is at least $5 a piece. And it's not like they'll let you buy 100 of them and then shipping on it's like 30 bucks. No, it's like whatever you buy, it's double. They double it when it comes time for shipping, at least what I saw anyway. So ran down to the Dollar General store and I got a dozen of these for $5 a piece, no shipping. And these are, they've got their 11 liters and graduated inside here, so very similar size. And since I've got a 3D printer and I know how to design stuff, I designed a drain. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but the drain has a filter incorporated into it, and it just comes out here to an elbow, and then this is regular standard 1/2-inch irrigation line, and then I made 2 nuts for it, and I've got that sealed with silicone. Oh. Oh. Wow, that kind of sucks. I think it'll be okay if I don't fill it up as much. Yeah, I was wanting to save this material. Should have gone a lot further out with it. Or, you know, just even have the sides bigger. That's fine. Now I've got a mess to clean up. Well, that was rather unpleasant. I guess some of you guys know how much those little pebbles look like dog turds in the grass. Let's try to get a clean pour. Look out, Bubbles. Okay, now I got to do that like 20 more times. So while I'm doing this, I wanted to ask you guys who are knowledgeable about this a question. I'm using city water to do this, and I'm not really even sure if it's necessary with these brand new clay balls. I mean, they came moist, but they're not dusty, in other words, but I'm doing it anyway. It's gonna, you know, at least get rid of some of the grit, but the grit's gonna collect in the bottom. I'm not worried about it, you know, fouling up anything. But anyway, doing it with city water. I've got a few days until my nutrient will be here. My plan is to go ahead and fill the system up with water and just start running it. And figure out how much the whole system holds and leave enough out so I can mix my nutrient in a 5-gallon bucket. And just dump it in. The only thing I have to check water quality with right now is just a ppm meter, and I got it for making colloidal silver, so I'm not sure what scale it's on. I'd guess the salt water scale, but I checked my water and the meter's reading like 50, so there's not really much stuff in the water. If this system is left to run inside, will the chlorine evaporate out of it? If I let it run for, say, 3 or 4 days, do I need to treat the water before I get plants in it? Because I was looking at getting some stress zyme to get rid of, the same kind of stuff you put in an aquarium before you put fish in it. Anyway, I'm kind of curious about all that because I don't know. Haven't found a definite answer. So yeah, anybody with some experience, if you wouldn't mind chiming in down below, I'd really like to hear what you have to say. Yeah, that first run, I kind of wanted to just see how bad it would get, and I found out. Also, I got to wondering when these, after this first cycle, and I need to take them out and get the roots and stuff out of them. I was watching Hucho's video, and he tried burning and mechanically and chemically getting rid of the stuff. I was wondering to sterilize it. Once I've gotten as much of the roots out as possible, could I just boil them all to kill everything and then put them back in the system? One more question. Does anybody smell cocoa pebbles when they're doing this? Because I sure do. It's the weirdest thing. Okay, so that is 2 40-liter bags, and ran out on this one, but I didn't fill them all the way up. I'm going to put more in, top them off when I have plants, but I'll show you how far the 2 bags went. We've got that one, and then this is how full the other ones are. I do have a 3rd bag, but I guess if you were to do the same setup with, or just use 8 of these buckets and use these clay balls as your media, you could get away with 2 bags depending on what you're doing. While we're over here, I'll go ahead and show you my hose clip design. We'll get into this a little bit more in the next video. Let's see. Okay. Can you see that? This just clips over and around like that, and then the hose rests on the lip right here, so it kind of stays where you put it. And I've got doubles for redundancy if I can find the other one. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. When I first started using them, it sounded like they were breaking when they clipped on there, but no, they're just made out of PLA. I had a roll. I'll make all my wife's vases for the flower shop, and we'll try different flavors of filament, and she did not like that one, so I get to play with those. Whether or not the PLA holds up as far as the drain remains to be seen. I've run water through this system and no leaks where it's important, but like I said, we'll get into that a little bit more. Right now I'm going to take you back over there and give you my final thoughts on the screen. Yeah, good enough. I'll see y'all later. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it worked out once I started using it, once I figured out how to use it. You know, the first time I overloaded it, you can't really clean off the pebbles if you put that much in it anyway. So, you know, about 1.5, or you do it right and you fill a bucket up and 2 loads of that. This was just hardware cloth, was just got a pneumatic stapler, stapled that around there, then used a couple of decking screws on each joint right there. Nothing special, but yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. If you want to tag along for the journey, you know where that subscribe button is, because if this is popping up in your video feed for some odd reason, it's probably never going to pop in there again. This is the first video on this channel. I know there's going to be many more, so yeah, why not, you know, tag along and add something to it if you want, and hopefully I can get you interested in it, and you know, show you how somebody who really knows next to nothing about this can jump in head first and hopefully be successful. But yeah, there's going to be some failures along the way, but I welcome those because that's how we learn. All right, guys, later.